Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training 43 minutes of chess, and we are going to begin by doing some woodpecker methods to warm up. And today, I basically wanted to analyze my two somewhat rapid classical games against the titled players who I played in the Simul yesterday. And okay, the Simul was only 3 people, so it actually felt like somewhat serious of a match. And the time control was 60 minutes plus 30 seconds a move. So okay, I mean, you know, both of these guys had 3 people to play, not just one person. So that makes it slightly unfair. But okay, still, I think the games were of interesting quality, and like I want to analyze them and learn from them. But before I get into the games or any woodpecker method, one thing I wanted to say was a huge shout out to Mike Surtees for winning, or at least coming joint first. I mean, okay, I think they're just joint first in the crew Congress. Yo, Shay, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Because Mike Surtees is actually like somewhat of a legend in my books, because this guy literally plays the most ridiculous openings, and he has done his whole career. And the guy has always like kind of sat around this like 2100 mark. And the guy must be, let me see how old Mike Surtees is now. He must be at least 60, if not older. Maybe 70. Let me see how old Mike Surtees is. Birth year 1950, right? So this guy, born 1950. Yo, he's 74 years old. 74 years old. And this man has just won an open tournament at the weekend. Like, look at this incredible result, gaining 50 rating points at the age of 74. Beating Jacob Connor Boswell, beating Maxim Lachikov, drawing an IM. Like, this is the most incredible result as a 74-year-old. Which is just inspiration to us all, is that not? Like, unbelievable. Mike Surtees gaining 50 points. Just unbelievable. Back to almost 2100. That's just incredible. That's just incredible. But yeah, he stands by his guns. He plays the same kind of style every game. And just have a look at this game. Look how sick this game is. Like, he ended up losing it because he's 74 years old and he blundered mate in 2. But like, just have a look at this. Against knight f3, he plays c6, f6, e5. Right? And then he even does the same slug maneuver that I do. Knight h6, knight f7. And then he plays with g6. I mean, you know, I would play knight a6, knight c7, but, you know. And he just goes on this kingside attack without an absolute care in the world. Now have a look at this. g5, h5. And by move 20, he's already -3 here. He's literally -3 after 20 moves. And in this position, rather than the move knight e6, had he just gone for it with bishop takes h4, it's completely winning. It's completely over. Like, the queen just comes in and it's just lights out. So okay, this game he lost. This was in like some Congress before, and basically in this position, after queen f3, the guy literally just plays king d7, which is a horrendous move, just blundering mate in 2. But yeah, I mean, what a legend, honestly. Like, to have such a result at 74 years old. Yeah. Even the world champion can blunder mate in 2. That's true, right? So, you know, you have your strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, 74 years of playing the exact same garbage style of chess, and look at where he is. Finishing with 50 points rating and 4.5 out of 5. So, inspiration to us all, especially the players with dodgy openings like myself. So, I wanted to analyze my games yesterday. Do we do woodpecker now or after? Let's do it in sets, right? Let's do 10 woodpecker methods before, in between, and after. Let's do it like that, so we get some in. Because I'm pretty far behind. I need to get to 300 by, I think, Friday next week. Any opening recommendations against e4? I'm trying to change my repertoire. Shay, I would recommend the Gurgenidze Modern wholeheartedly. And you're about to see my second game against Lisa. I managed to draw against her. She's like 23-20 right now, but a couple months ago she was 23-80. And I drew with the Garganitsa Modern. I think it'd be up your street, to be honest. I think you'll like it. So I would recommend that. It really depends what you're after though. Like, I don't know. Like give me like what you're looking for in an opening and what yeah, what kind of... I mean, I understand your style a little bit, which is why I actually think the Garganitsa would be a good fit, but... I mean, I don't understand your style too well, right? Like, we've had one game, so it's hard to say. I think this looks promising. Looks very promising. I think we can go for that already. Because otherwise we're just picking up the rook, right? So, this looks very convincing. Nice, so that's 1. Okay, let's get to 90. What material do you use to study it? That's a very good question. I mean, this is how it went. I first saw it in a single chapter in a single book. And this book was written in the 70s or something. It was a really old book on the modern. And they just had a chapter dedicated to the Garganitsa Modern as like a kind of quirky way to play. And they had some model games in it. There was a game of like, I think, was it Korchnoi? Drawing against Fischer or something? There's some famous game, I think Korchnoi drawing against Fischer, where Korchnoi was actually better, but then bails out with a draw. And then, so I read that chapter, I read those model games. Maybe that's actually a very good place to start, actually. This is Raymond Keen's... I'm sure you can find a PDF online very easily. It's a very old book. Modern Defense. Yeah, this one with the purple cover. Yeah, this was great. Just to give some basics, it's a bit outdated, but the chapter on the Garganitsa is really good. And then after that, I basically looked at a bunch of databases. I also realized that Hikaru, like Nakamura, plays it in loads of Blitz games. He's got like over 1,000 games of Garganitsa Modern, so that's a really, really great reference. And then, yeah, like basically just played a bunch of games online, just like learning little by little. Probably want something a bit offbeat and solid. There you go. Garganitsa Modern is your opening. I mean, yeah, Shay, message me on Lichess and I'll give you some more tips about it. Like we can talk a bit more about it. But yeah, it's fantastic opening, I think. Okay, offbeat and solid, maybe a Petrov. That's true, and perhaps like a more objectively strong suggestion than the Garganitsa Modern. The downside is that still with a Petrov, you need to learn King's Gambit, you need to learn Vienna. So you still have some difficulties you need to learn, but okay, you could learn these as well. But at the same time, Petrov, you're not quite getting exactly what you want in a lot of times, because many players nowadays are playing this d4 move, right? Like this e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, and d4, this gambit. Like I remember first seeing this in Simon Williams's Chessable course, analyzing this gambit, and I don't know, that changes the nature of the game as well. So if you're really looking for something that's just like really, you're getting the very similar structures every time, and you've got like this strategy you can play on, I really like it. And the fact, Shay, that you've got some experience with minority attacks, there will be some lines where minority attack structures can come up. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, on my Ponziani master account, let's go for it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, so rook takes b2. Rook takes and takes this rook. Seems to jump out at me. I feel like I've been doing so much chess recently. I feel like I'm actually seeing a lot. It's just, I've just been playing so much. Okay, maybe it's just this to win a pawn. Somehow that looks promising. Yeah, I like it. Very nice. Probably this, right? We've got some pressure on this back rank. This looks really strong. Just as I played it, I spotted a bishop on d6. Okay, I am getting way too cocky and I'm gonna slow down. As soon as I played it, I was like, oh my god, there's a bishop on d6. Well, in which, of course, it doesn't work. But I had this right idea of spotting this move. But of course, okay, I've got to be way more concrete. Yeah, blunder like that is not good at all. Okay, so we get the mate. Okay, let's do a bonus one as punishment. So we'll go to 91 instead of 90. Okay. Part of me really wants to take on e5. I don't really see... Ah, okay, are we picking up this knight? So then we're just winning a pawn. And winning a pawn is pretty good in this position. Uh-huh. That's actually a really clever move. I will presume that's Shay. So Shay, I'll check that message a bit later, after I'm done streaming. I feel like I get surprised by this move every time I get to this puzzle. I mean, a part of me really wants to just play rook e1 and just not care about this. Maybe I can, right? I can maybe play knight g6, but then they can always drop back. Feels like maybe they get away with it. I actually don't see the follow-up. If you find it, you're welcome to message on chat. I will try not to look, but it's good to try and lock in your answers if you think you've got it. Forces you to like be brave and commit to it. Like if you make a mistake, then you'll be publicly embarrassed, but this is the equivalent of making a blunder in chess, right? So you should try and force yourself to give an answer if you think you've got the answer. Yeah, I don't see this at all. My feeling is that it's either like knight d7 or some wacky move like that. Ah, could it be just knight d3 actually? Just save the piece. We want a pawn already, right? So I think we can just go back. Yeah, I was looking for something fancy, but we're just simply a pawn up, so no need to be fancy. Maybe knight f3. That seems pretty simple enough. No counterattacks. Okay, we'll take that. Probably we can just grab the pawn, right? And then give a fork. There's so many mini tactics to win forks in this win pawns in this woodpecker method. It's really nice to practice. The first instinct I have is to take him and push. But does that actually work? I think it does actually. Wow. Takes, pawn push, but no, they can give a check. But then I can come here. Doesn't seem easy at all to make this work. Yeah, that's totally winning. That's totally winning. Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, I'll have to sack the rook for the pawn and then the bishop takes back and we're a bishop up, right? So my first instinct is that maybe we can do something with this. But not like that, right? Because then basically they'll just recapture. So we need to take first and then play knight d2. Yeah. Okay, cool, Shay. I've tried to play Petrov, but against low-rated players, too hard to get any play. Right, I mean, the other problem with Petrov is that they can just play 4 knights, right? Like e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, and then they can just play knight c3. And then you've got nothing better than to play knight c6, so you don't really get to put your mark on the opening, in my opinion. Like, you're basically still too responsive to what your opponent wants to do, and I think just practically this is just something that is not ideal. Like, I like to play a move that sets my mark on the opening and forces my opponent to, you know, follow that same style, right? Like, this is the best practical advantage I can play for. And for, like, top players, yeah, this practical advantage matters less and less because, you know, the moves just become more objectively important. But the lower level you get, the more important that you're making your mark on the position. So I think this is important. Okay, bishop f6 and e7. This looks very strong. Yeah. My assumption was just we take here. Okay, nice. Wait, opposite color bishops normally improve the drawing chance of the player who has sacrificed material. But black did not sacrifice here, he lost it. And without any active pieces, he cannot create anything on the dark squares. Yeah, so this is the most important thing. Whoever's got the more active pieces in this opposite color position should have an advantage. So, yeah, I guess white, with this very strong bishop on this outpost here, kind of secures that. Okay, let's actually do this exercise as well, and then we'll move to my games. I'm somehow wanting to do this, and this actually looks really strong. This plan to win a pawn looks good. And then I guess we just move back. This was my thoughts. Back to the open file. Awesome. Okay, so that's our 10 puzzles done. 11 because we got one wrong. So let's actually have a look at my game. So this was my game against Grandmaster Damian Lemos. I played him yesterday morning. I met d4 of knight f6. I'm settling on this repertoire. I had some ideas of playing with c6, but I wanna play with knight f6. I've got some nice d4 sideline repertoire as well now. And then on knight f3, I played c5, which is trademark Benoni, and if white plays d5. So we actually had a blitz game afterwards against Damian Lemos. And yeah, we entered this Benoni, and we had a crazy game. Crazy game. I was actually quite proud of how I played it. But yeah, the middle game got really complicated, and he played this really amazing move, which completely gave me a lot of trouble, and I couldn't navigate it well. So in this game, he didn't want to enter a Benoni. He said this after the game. So can you believe it, right? A grandmaster being afraid of a Benoni? That just says it all. So in this position, he plays e3, which is a decent way to decline for Benoni. So I take it, and if white wants to play for an advantage, he should take with the pawn. Because I feel like if he takes with a knight, then probably he wants the pawn on e4. That's my feeling. So he takes with the pawn, and we get this structure. And any sharp-eyed players may recognize that this is actually a reverse Queen's Gambit declined accepted. Wait, actually. No, wait. Queen's Gambit not accepted. Queen's Gambit declined exchanged, where we have the white pieces, so it is kind of reversed. Yeah. So in this position, white establishes the bishop on this diagonal, which stops me from playing my bishop f5 move. So I had to play bishop g4, but this is actually mainline Queen's Gambit declined exchange, which I don't play. I normally play this like sideline with bishop f5. So kind of interesting that we get to this position. But yeah, basically my goal is just to develop all the pieces, get my king safe, and play from minority attack. So I was just trying to be as precise with the move order as possible. Like, for instance, I started with bishop g4, not knight c6, because I didn't want h3 to be played, right? So yeah, so I started with bishop g4 first, and then I went for this trade. I finally developed, and yeah, here I was just a bit concerned of playing castles immediately if white could try and get away with c4, and I felt playing knight c6 just deters this, right? Because now there's going to be serious pressure on this move. Like, I reckon this position with c4 is not as bad as this position with c4. I feel like white is not good here. So let me actually see with an engine. Let's have a look. So yeah, so we get this Queen's Gambit declined exchange variation, and you can see that like white has literally got nothing out of this opening. And yeah, I went with knight c6. So if castle's in c4, this is minus 0.5. Castle's in c4 here, minus 0.8, right? I've even got some tactic immediately with knight d4, which I was contemplating. So basically just, even if I had the feeling that castles in c4 was still not something serious, but still, it's kind of pushing the game in the direction that I didn't really want. Like, I didn't really want white to be playing c4 here. So, even if it's bad. So again, just trying to get the positions that I want, that I know how to play. So this was the situation. I castled. He played rook e1 here. And yeah, this was the moment where I didn't feel so comfortable with my bishop being on this diagonal when one day the queen can move and potentially my bishop's kind of just doing nothing. Like, ideally, this bishop, to me, I'm always very, very scared of this bishop. Like, whenever this bishop runs wild, I'm blundering something. So I really wanted to get my bishop to g6 and blunt this bishop. This was like my plan. There are these ideas of playing bishop f5 and basically just getting this pawn structure, but I haven't really delved deep into the understanding of this. It feels like this d5 pawn is still somewhat of a weakness. But it's probably alright, actually. Like, wow, actually, this is actually transposing to the pawn structure that I get. I got in my round 1 of the British Rapid Play. Have a look at this. How crazy is that? From a completely different capture. Look at this. How crazy is this? This was a game in the Garganitsa, right? Where I got this pawn structure and I ended up playing knight d5 and we get this position. Look at this pawn structure. With the pawn f5 and with the pawn split like this. It's the same pawn structure. Like, okay, like maybe slightly different, but this is very, very close. So I guess the one big difference is maybe this e5 square is a little bit weak. But in return, I do have this. And also in this position, my opponent had the dark squared bishop, right? So playing f5 is like really, really weakening. But here the dark squared bishops have traded. And that means I can actually follow up with g6 and king g7. Like, wow. I did not realize I actually have this option. Very interesting. A Garganitsa pawn structure. Yeah. And this is actually one tempo faster. Like, if the opponent isn't going to take and they have to, I don't know, play something like this, then yeah, this is just an improved version, right? So this is very interesting. Yeah, Queen's Gambit declined accepted? No, I meant Queen's Gambit declined exchanged. Yeah. 720p? What? Oh, right. You want high definition. Again, no can do. That takes like a good 5 minutes out of my day to not be studying chess and spent on like trying to work out some settings on Streamlabs. Not happening. You love the jumper, thank you. I am a big fan of this jumper. I think it's very, very cool. And it's even cooler. I'll show you even more. It's got like these stripes and it's purple and it goes around the back. Very cool. And believe it or not, it's actually an Adidas original brand. Like, what a cool jumper. What a sick jumper. The only problem with it is it's white. And the thing is, as cool as it is, it means that I'm very prone to getting stains on it. So I have to be very careful when I'm wearing this jumper. But yeah, I do like this jumper. I think it's a steal. You even said jumper. I respect that. No American sweaters here. Interesting chess question. If you touch a piece but realize it's a blunder no matter what, but your opponent doesn't see, away from the board or in the toilet, is it cheating to move a different piece? Cheating, I would say yes, absolutely. Whether you do it anyway and try and get away with it, like, is it so immoral to the point where I would shun you forever for doing it? I mean, my instinct is actually, yeah, if I touch that piece, I'm just gonna commit to moving it, because otherwise then you're going down this very, very like dangerous path where, for instance, let's say you're playing a blitz game, right? And there's no arbiter around, like a FIDE blitz game, and you touch a piece or something, or even a classical game, right? Like, oh, this even happened, right? Actually, if Faz was on the stream, he would actually mention this. But it happened to him in the Rapid Play, in the Birmingham Rapid Play, where basically his opponent touched a piece, which would lead to a blunder. And then when he decided to try to play a different piece, Faz was like, no, you touched a piece. And then the opponent, some child, denied it. He denied that he touched the piece, right? And it was like not just like, you know, almost touching it, you know, some debate wherever he touched it. No, it was like fully like grab, pick up, and then put back down. Like no question, right? Like that's a touch piece, right? So, you know, the thing is then, like, if you can like touch a piece and try and get away with it that way, like you're in your hypothetical question, Arjun, then who's to say that, okay, if there's no arbiter watching, then it just becomes my word against your word, and the arbiter can't do anything. Like, you know, otherwise, if the arbiter is going to rule against the guy who touched the piece, then, you know, halfway through a game, I could randomly say, oh, arbiter, my opponent just touched their queen that leads to, like, you know, blunder when they didn't, right? You know, you can't make judgments like that, right? So it's very unfair, but it's a really difficult situation that the arbiter just can't deal with. There's no way to deal with it if the arbiter didn't see, right? So I would say, as a chess player, you have the responsibility to move the piece if you touched it. Like if you're playing a serious game, like in a tournament, and you touch a piece, you have to move it. This is chess law, and I feel like there are certain principles as a chess player, like no matter how morally corrupt you may be, you must just follow, because otherwise you're no better than, I don't know, some kid who goes to the bathroom to look at stockfish as he plays. Like, I don't know. I feel like touching a piece is like, it's such an important aspect of chess. And it's funny, actually, there's this amazing documentary. If you guys haven't seen this, I would even consider stop watching the stream and just watch it now, because it's actually like the best thing ever. The Love for Wood. Yeah, this documentary, unbelievable documentary. The Love for Wood. It's this 1970s documentary shot in the Netherlands, and it's so good. It's so good. And actually, I think this topic of touching a piece actually came up in this documentary, right? What do you do if you actually touch a piece of your arm? Oh, then it doesn't matter. The FIDE rules state that for it to count as a touch piece move, it has to be an intentional touch of the piece. Like if you like go to, you know, play a move and you brush a piece or knock it over or something, that doesn't mean you have to play it. It's when you intentionally. Yeah. I'm an Adidas fanboy. Nice, Jan. I rate a lot of Adidas drip, I have to say. But yeah, let's keep going. So I played bishop h5, and he goes queen b3, and this is an interesting moment, because what my opponent is doing by removing the queen off his diagonal, he's basically saying that he wants to try and play knight e5, and knight e5 is a very, very annoying move to meet in these structures, because I can't ever take because of this fork. So queen b3 is really, really smart to get out of his pin, and it looks like I need to spend a move to defend this pawn. And then he'll play knight e5, and then okay, Engine says it's equal, but Engine says everything's equal in this position. Like it's a really strategically nuanced position that will not end in a draw. Most likely, it's probably going to end in whoever has the greatest skill in these kind of positions, right? So knight e5 is the plan, right? So in this position, I calculated carefully and realized that actually I can play the move knight d7 to stop knight e5. And I didn't think he could take, because I was going to play rook fb8. Yeah, nice. So my calculation was good here. Yeah, and I was torn between whether to play rook b6 or just go straight away and win this pawn. I was trying to debate, and I basically had to make sure that I wasn't getting trapped like this rook. But the thing is, yeah, I'm actually getting some counterplay here. Yeah, and it's not so easy to trap this rook. Like, you can play queen a3, but you can't, right? Like that was yeah, this queen covering the square. So yeah, I saw this queen b7 wasn't quite working, and when I played knight d7, like he gave the GM gave me like a nod of like affirmation. So okay, maybe I shouldn't read into this, but it kind of felt like, yeah, it was kind of like a sign of respect that, okay, I'm not just memorizing some moves of the opening, like I actually understand this structure. So he plays rook e3, basically to prepare like a rook lift. And this is the whole idea, right? Like black is eventually going to try and play for b5 and try and break up this 3. And white is going to try and like create some mating attack on this side of the board. Now, here, I didn't want to worry about this queen takes b7 for the rest of the game. So I played rook fb8, which is a move I wanted to play anyway, right? So a lot of minority attack players play with rook a b8. But I've found that rook fb8 is often equal in strength and is a slightly different minority attack. And because it's different, I've actually grown to understand this minority attack style with both rooks on these squares. And I feel like that gives me a bit of a practical advantage as well. So I really understand how to play these pawn pushes when I've got the rooks like this. Now, my opponent played move a4. And the move I was contemplating for a little bit was whether I could get away with a5. Because there's like a Karpov game where he does this, and it looks really weird, right? It looks like, oh, then what's the point? But okay, the Karpov game was a bit different, and basically Karpov was able to play this b5 move eventually, and then basically get this situation where the rook takes back, and he basically gets this activity on this b file, and this a5 pawn is struggling a bit. Maybe we can even just get up that position from my chessable course. Let's just have a look at that Karpov position just to remind me, because in this position you can see like the bishop and the queen are on the square, like it's gonna be really hard to make this b5 work. But let's just have a look at that position where would this be? This would be Caro-Kann reversed model games, and this would be the Karpov. I think it's this game. So is it this one? Yeah. This is the moment, right? So we get this position, and Karpov plays a4, and basically doesn't care if black plays a5. So this is kind of a similar position, but as you can see, there's no dark squared bishop on d6 covering the b4 square. So this is slightly different, right? And basically what Karpov does, he does amazingly here. He basically, okay, black doesn't play the move a5 for reasons that I explained, but I won't get into now. You can read this properly or get the course. But yeah, basically he maneuvers the queen to a3. This queen c5 dislodge the queen, then bring it to a3, and then basically when black eventually plays a5, he's then ready to prepare this b4 and then gets this initiative going. So basically white needs further control of his b4 to make it work, and that is not what I have here. So not enough control over b5 square to go for this plan from Karpov versus let's actually get the name. Okay, cool. So I go for this bishop g6 first, because I felt like, yeah, my bishop's not doing anything here, and I really want to make sure that I've never got any of these sacrificial tactics. Like you never know if this is going to come up, right? So I played bishop g6, and this is a very interesting thing. This pawn structure I haven't had so much experience with, because normally when I get this minority attack, I'm playing from the white side of a c3 Venom. So if we flip this board, I'm normally seeing it from this. Knight c3, which forces a defense on d5, either c6 or knight f6. They don't have time for bishop d6, so I win the pawn. So knight f6, and normally I play bishop f4. So cutting out bishop d6 developments. Yeah, so I'm not so used to this position. So basically I got this pawn structure, which, as I said, yeah, not so used to. And what I found, very interestingly, was this knight g5 move became a real pain later. Like, the pressure on e6, the pressure on f7, and also the potential threats of, like, a queen coming into h7 was very, very annoying. So, I need to be careful about this. He starts with queen d1, basically to prepare, like, some kind of g4, f3 kind of switch. And here I played a6. Oh, and interestingly, I was looking at this b5 move. Wow. Because this is almost the exact same situation as playing a5 first and then b5, right? I was looking at this to get the same pawn structure as Karpov versus Kharitonov. surprisingly. Engine. Okay, maybe engine doesn't approve. Like this Lichess engine's also a bit naff. But this was my idea, to basically play for this, and actually we get something similar in the game actually. Maybe this is an accelerated version to, because I get this pawn structure very, very soon. You're gonna see here. But I feel like, how many moves did I have to spend? So here I played a6, that's one tempo. But then he spends a tempo, then I spend a tempo, and then he takes, and we get this structure. And then he plays b3, and I still have to play one more tempo of a5. So I'm so confused. So if I play b5 immediately, that's one tempo. He takes us one tempo. I take back, plays b3, and I play a5. Somehow I feel like I'm faster. Can anyone do math here? Is this like a better version of what I got in the game? Somehow feels that way. Perhaps a faster transition to the pawn structure that arose in the game. Okay, Shay says, I had a player once in Merseyside who tried to claim touch move when he knocked over my piece and I picked it up. Bro. That is stupid. That is so stupid. How did it go? I mean, this is the thing as well, right? Like, these stupid scenarios, you never know if an arbiter is just like having a really off day, or maybe they're just a bad arbiter and they just completely get the wrong call. Like, I would be so scared, but like even this one, like this one's so stupid. Like it has to rule in Shay's favor. There's no way any arbiter would ever make that mistake. Ja, it's going well. It's going well. We're taking a look at a game against a grandmaster that I played yesterday. I played him in a simul match. There were 3 boards only, so it was actually very, very nice to play. And we're just trying to understand what opportunities I missed, why I did well. New question from Arjun. Oh boy, let me drink some water. Oh, new question. If you saw this situation between 2 players, would you report the person that violated the touch rule? It depends. If it was like, if I wasn't like a million% sure, like let's say he went to touch the piece and it wasn't completely sure, I probably would stay out of it because, you know, I don't want to impose anything incorrect. If it was as blatant as picking up the piece, putting it back down, and then claiming innocence, I would go up to the board. I would even just say like, yeah, I'm completely impartial here. I don't really know either of the players. Absolutely, like the guy touched the piece. Like I'd say like I'm an arbiter. I'm a national arbiter. He literally picked it up exactly as this player said. Yeah, of course I would step in, because like these cancerous players that actually try and get away with this, like they need to realize that they can't do this. Like this, like they're really not gonna get far. Like not in chess, not in life. Like they're literally digging a grave for themselves already. So they can't do this. So yeah, I'd 100% step in. But yeah, I played a6 here, and my idea was to basically play for b5, and I was wondering how he would deal with this. I thought if he ever plays b4, this is always premature. I don't have to play premature since I don't have to play b5. And this is the way to deal with it, actually. Yeah, this a5 move I've seen sometimes in these model games, but I just haven't I haven't seen it enough to really remember it. Like it's not like an instinct, but yeah, this a5 response to this early b4. So let me explain this. This early b4, the idea is that it's very strong if black plays b5. Because if black plays b5, basically white will put a knight on b3 and c5, and white is, if anyone is better, it's white, because they lock up the queen side, they put all their pieces on the king side, and black either holds or doesn't, right? So you can't allow this structure. So what you need to do is, as soon as they play b4, well, now their c pawn is weak, and you can actually change tactic, play like rook c8, and if white tries to put a knight on c5, then we can kick it out with b6, right? We haven't pushed b5 yet. So this is just very good for black. We're going to be able to double on the c file, put great pressure on the c file, and probably be better, right? But definitely the move to play here. This is inaccurate. This is actually a mistake, probably. It's better to play this a5, and then if yeah, this seems to be the even stronger way, because white can never unravel with c4. We always take him, and they're left with this isolated pawn. It looks like knight e7 here. Are we even playing b6? What's the plan? They just try and hold. I guess knight e7, knight f5 is a very strong square for the knight. Can even do this. And interesting how they're never going b6. I guess there's no rush, right? We can always win this pawn. And it looks like, yeah, they're already trying to just deal with the c pawn immediately. Like, what if they try and like hold tight with queen b3? And they allow like some pressure on this pawn. Let's say they do something like this and try and hold it. How we actually okay, it likes knight f5. Let's say rook c2. Let's say they just try and hold. And this comes in. Okay, so that's why useful to keep the b6 square free for the knight. Yeah. Best response to this premature b4. You see how I love this minority attack kind of position so much, because it's so easy to gain in understanding, and it's so easy to catch players out who don't like know what they're doing, right? So it's a really nice opening to like slowly improve and get stronger over time. I mean, this is literally like why Keith Arkle is such a beast, because like he understands this like minority attack position so well. He can just outplay anyone in it. And that's kind of like where I'm hoping to get to one day. Because I think for me as a person, chess understanding is not like something I find so difficult. It's just a matter of experience and I guess like, you know, being able to apply the knowledge, but I don't think that's like so difficult. Whereas I think some players really struggle with this. So you've got to try and play to your strengths, right? So this is what I'm trying to do. But yeah, in the game, my opponent played a5, and he felt like this was needed. But I actually said after the game that I wonder if you can get away with knight b3. Because if I play b5 now, maybe you can take... but it's not quite in time. Oh, you can even take with the rook. Again, getting this Karpov... Wait, do I still have the... Yeah, Karpov continuative structure. But yeah, this a takes b5. I was wondering if he can try and get knight c5 in, but I guess he can't, right? My knight is... white is... Yeah, so here... black is fine. White is not in time to set up knight c5 plus b4 due to the knight on d7, right? So this is fine. So probably GM is right about this a5 move, basically just stopping this b5 while he still can. And here I've tried these positions in the past where I've played like queen c7, and this to me I feel like is inaccurate, because basically white plays b4, and this knight comes in. Very, very difficult to play. Like, probably Engine says it's fine just because I've got like this immediate b6. Yeah, like I have to act immediately. Otherwise it's gonna be like I'm gonna get completely busted. Because the general rule is actually this knight can never come to c5 before the pawn is pushed to b5. But this is the one exception, because I actually can't play b6 to kick out the knight due to the pawn. So I have to I can't allow this. So I've developed this understanding in this minority attack that whenever white plays a5, I need to play b6. And you see Stockfish is saying the right move, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like you can play chess like this, but you need to get the positions where you can play chess like this. So this is why openings are very important. But anyway, b6 is what I played. A b6, rook b6 is how it went down. And he went b3. And yeah, this queen b8 I thought was clever. Why did I think queen b8 was clever? I think the point was that I wanted to potentially, if the knight came to g5, basically allowing this queen to develop, I wanted to meet knight g5 with knight f6 to control the square. But the thing is, if I ever, well, actually, the thing is, I can't play knight f6 now because of knight e5. But actually, if they play knight g5, then I can play knight f6. Like they can't teleport their knight to e5, because the point is, yeah, if they get a knight into e5, I can't take when there's a fork, right? So that's why I played queen b8, because I wanted to avoid any potential forking business and then allow my knight to come back to f6. But here he played queen e2. And here I was very, very proud of this, because at first it looks like I can't play a move like a5. I'll turn this engine off for a second, because it looks like my opponent can play rook e6. Right? This looks really scary, because if pawn takes, then queen takes check, and it may even be completely lights out. Like, I don't know where my king goes. Probably f8, and they can already take here. And also this knight is coming in. It looks really, really dangerous. But the thing is, I calculated that actually on rook e6, I can actually meet this move with knight e5. And the point being is that if they take my rook attacking my queen, I can take with check, and then I pick up the rook. So this is obviously not possible. And if they come down here, I've got these two pieces on the back rank. So actually this was also my thought process when I played queen b8. I thought this was avoid knight e5, d takes e5 fork ideas when q and knight are on f6 and d6 and f6. Also, my first rank is better protected. Yeah, so basically, yeah, this a5 move I felt was really smart. Let's just double check this. I haven't checked this with an engine. Rook e6, yeah, knight d4, right? Knight d4, and basically, I'm just doing great, right? Because I'm gonna win a whole rook. So I saw that my structure was still a little bit weak, but like a rook's a rook, right? And it's not like so bad. Like I can kick this knight. So, okay, they can even take actually. I don't know how far I looked into this, but yeah, it's like I've got many moves here that are fine, right? So, yeah, this knight d5. Was played by my opponent, and he actually said that he felt that knight g5 was a step in the wrong direction for him. He said that he felt h4 was the better move. But I was gonna meet h4 with knight f6. This was my plan. But maybe now he can try this move. Okay, I can take, and where am I going with this knight? Oh, I'm even going to e4. Wow, to try and displace the knight here. How interesting. Yeah, because I guess if I trade enough pieces, there shouldn't be an attack. With just a couple pieces, and that's the great thing with this. Yeah, this minority attack. The more pieces you trade, the better your position comes. So this is trading more potential attackers is advantageous for black. Yeah, so this is actually slightly better for black here, which makes sense because I feel like this past a pawn is strong, the c pawn is weak, there's no attack, so this should be a slight edge for black. So knight g5 was played. Let me see if I'm missing anything in chat. Oh, lots of messages. Arjun says, give the Sicilian Dragon a try. Amazing opening against e4. Interesting. I would say Dragon has too much theory to the point where it just kind of puts me off. Like Anish Giri's Dragon, for instance, is just so ugly that to play a Dragon objectively in this day and age, you have to play such ugly moves at times. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Like, it used to be a cool opening back in the day when there were like not as good engines, but yeah, nowadays, yeah, it's really, yeah, really not my favorite. Josh says that reminds me of when my opponent made an illegal move and insisted I add time to my clock. This took me above 5 minutes, and he tried to claim I was cheating for not writing down my moves. Oh, when your opponent made a legal move, but then insisted that you had time to your clock. Oh, and then, yeah, right. So this is a rule as well. If you go under 5 minutes, in a time control where you're not required to write down the moves on every move, then you don't have to write down the moves for the last 5 minutes. But if your increment then takes you above 5 minutes, or let's say you get added time on the clock, you don't have to keep writing down the moves. Like, I mean, it'll be stupid, right? You stop writing down the moves for, like, I don't know, 4 moves, and then you have to start writing down again. What? On your score sheet, you just have a blank of 4 moves? Like, it's just like, no, you just don't write down the moves after that. So, yeah. I must be the luckiest player, then I never had any of these scenarios. I think, Arjun, you just haven't played enough. Like, you play enough, you're gonna experience some of these experiences. Like, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. Only thing that comes close would be the one time my opponent refused to give me a score sheet when I messed up my notation. That's so petty. That's funny. Wouldn't it be too easy to prep against too? What is too easy to prep against? Which opening? Hi, I came in late, scrolled to the beginning of the video. I remember Mike Surtees. He showed me his invention of only moving the pawns in the first 10 moves when I met him at the British Championship 15 years ago. Right, yeah. No, Mike Surtees, really interesting guy. And he hasn't changed. He still looks exactly the same. I don't know what his living situation is like, but, you know, like, crazy guy. But yeah, can you imagine? Age 74? Playing his best tournament of his career. Age 74. Like, it just makes me so happy to see something like that. It's like, in the final round, he's playing Jacob Connor Boswell, who currently is, like, you know, a tournament away from FM. And it's like, what a guy. Yeah, exactly. Just not giving up on his original ideas and not giving up on his style. Like, believing in his style and going through with it. And I think, like, I mean, we can see from this game, right? Like, this style of chess I'm understanding really well, and I'm keeping up with a GM, right? And this Grandmaster is, like, he used to be 2580. He's still relatively young, and I think his peak was 2580. He was, like, the under 20 Pan-American champion at the age of 16. Like, I looked up some details about this guy. Like, yeah, he's a strong player. So, yeah, if you get the type of position you can excel in, doesn't matter if you're playing c6, f6 on on move 1 and 2. Who cares? Like, if you can outplay your opponent, screw what Stockfish says. So anyway, knight g5 was played, and I was basically waiting for knight g5 to play the move knight f6, because I didn't want to leave this position when knight e5 was still possible. So if let's say I play a move like knight f6 here, I was always worried about this this move. So how does this go? I'm always scared of his d takes e5, and again, wow, knight e4 again is strong. So this motif of trading pieces works again here. Yeah, nice. Okay, so really good to see that motif works in both positions. Because yeah, if you can't jump forward with knight e4, this feels a little bit scary. Like these pieces are basically coming in, and there's it can be difficult. So this knight e4 is quite important. Okay, so basically after a5, and I calculated that the sacrifice didn't work. I played knight f6. And for the record, probably my opponent looked way deeper into the sacrifice. He said he was even tempted by it, right? So he saw way deeper, but ultimately, if you can navigate the position, you don't have to see as much as your opponent. Of course, it's better to see more, but it's not, like, necessary. So anyway, I played this knight f6 here. Apparently knight e7 is even stronger, but okay, these are such fine margins, like 0.1 difference. It's really hard to gauge anything from it. But yeah, in this position, I had my first, like, advantage of the game. And actually, I think after the game, my opponent said, yeah, he felt either playing knight e7 or knight d8 immediately would be good. I ended up playing queen f4. My idea was basically just to control some more squares around the king side, to kind of slow him down. But the thing is, the queen is just not a good defensive piece. Like, this was just a really poor error in judgment. It's not a bad move, right? You can see it's still, like, one of Stockfish's top moves, but it is a step in the wrong direction. And I think had I played knight e7 to improve my knight's position, I guess I still felt like the knight wasn't bad on c6. This could have been a way to continue. Because basically knight e7 or knight d8, it reveals the rook's defense. So now the sacrifices aren't working. At least I don't think they are. Take. Yeah, if they take here, and I take, and they take, I don't have to take back, right? I don't have to allow this queen, and I can just move the knight, right? And then I'm doing completely fine. And knight d8 is just an even safer version than knight e7. Like this just secures these points forever, and then I can go get on with my plan. Like maybe pushing a4, something like this. Yeah, and I think my GM opponent wasn't sure how to play. I think he said something like he had just played g3, king g2, like didn't know what to do. And here the thing is, the problem is you can't really just sit and not do anything because I've got an active plan, right? I can basically play for this. Although I think I was hesitant with it. I don't know what I was scared of. Maybe I was scared of b4, but surely not. b4 looks so weakening. Like if you don't have this. Like if the pawn is on c5, then this is maybe a different story. But with this, it feels a bit weak. But yeah, this position I definitely fancy. Like playing against this weakness for the rest of the game. Okay, like you got great chances to try and squeeze an advantage here. So I played queen f4, and here comes a really interesting moment. Knight df3, bringing more pieces to the king side. I play knight d8, and then my opponent goes c4, and there comes a really interesting idea here. I think it might even be here. I play the move rook b8, and can anyone tell me why rook b8 is a blunder? This is actually crazy. Without checking the notation, can anyone tell me why rook b8 is a blunder? And my GM opponent missed it as well. What are people saying? Okay, the mischievous duo Sapsara and Tricky have joined the stream. I passed Arjun again. Okay, I guess that's good. So impressive. Michael, you're bad at chess unless you play me. I don't agree. I feel like it's an unnecessary comment as well, Mr. Arif. You messaged on WhatsApp. Okay. That's interesting. I didn't know you had my number. That's pretty impressive. But okay. Can we join the study? I guess I can add you, but I won't make you a contributor. Otherwise, then you can make moves and do all sorts. So I can add you to the study. Tricky. You're welcome to see the moves. But yeah, basically, rook b8 is a mistake. Oh, okay. Message you on WhatsApp. I see. I actually realized I think there's a way that probably Arif could get my number, but it would be a really big brain. It would be a really big brain play. So that's gonna be Arif's like week's activity, I'm sure. But nah, he's not gonna work it out. Like, until he reaches like a level of 2000 online at least, I don't think he's got the brains to work it out. So, you know, he's gonna have to train his chess first, and then we'll see. Okay, so yeah, can anyone find the solution? Arav, you said the outpost on e5, but what does this mean? You have my number, Sapsara? How do you have my number? Again, could be a big brain play. But okay, I prefer if you don't spread my phone number around. That would be appreciated. But okay, let's have a think. So, rook b8, and the amazing thing in this position is that there is one weakness about my position. There's one weakness about my position. So Okay, Araf, I'm gonna kick you out of the study because I don't believe that you saw everything without using an engine. There's absolutely no way. But okay, like what's your line? What's your specific line here? Actually, even kicking you out, I think you can still see this game, um, for some time. So it's probably not gonna work. But I want to hear your full line. I want to hear your full line. So Tricky has hit the nail on the head that there is this queen weakness, right? So White has to be very careful, but at the same time, Rook e5 is not working. Rook e5 I think is a blunder. But there is a motif surrounding this idea to try and trap the queen. That could work. So Rook e5, let me try and refute Rook e5 because I know Rook e5 is not the move. So Rook e5. I think I've got the refutation. Or is it? I have the feeling if Rook e5, I can play knight g4. If White tries to play g3, I can play queen f6. And I reckon their rook is trapped. So it doesn't quite work. Okay, I actually found that. I'm not kidding. I'm still in the study. Yeah, I know. I forgot. Lichess studies work like that. Okay, your apology... Okay, not even apology, but your explanation redeems yourself to be re-added to the study. But yeah, Rook e5 unfortunately is not working. But the very, very unintuitive move of taking on d5, first, removing this possibility, and then Rook e5 is actually working incredibly. So this is a very interesting thing. So let's just double check my line was good. Was it knight g5? Oh, I mean knight g4. Knight g4 is not working. g3, queen f6. Rook d5. What the hell? Oh, wow. Very cute. Very, very cute. So you actually need to play... knight d7 is the move. Because then you have this knight f8 block. I think that's probably the difference. And the knight somehow protects everything. Unbelievable. Because now g3, queen f6 and rook d5. Just e d5 and there's no mate. That's ridiculous. Jesus. So it all comes back to just not playing queen f4, right? Like when I played queen f4, suddenly like yeah, my positions got problems, and it was completely unnecessary. So this is definitely a mistake. And actually, the GM highlighted this after the game. He said like this was this feeling that like this queen f4 was the start of the problems. Like before that, I was playing like super well. So the queen is more vulnerable than effective here. Okay, so basically, okay, maybe dubious. Like question mark is a bit too harsh. So knight d8. Yeah, and then he played c4. And what he was recommending in the game, I think, was basically just to put the knight back on c6. Wait, no, he couldn't have. There's no way that Mr. GM Damian Lemos blundered this, so I must be forgetting. No, it was later. Sorry, it was later. So queen a2 here, and then in this position, yeah, basically at this moment, Damien was just like, yeah, if I just played knight c6 back, he felt like I was fine. And I guess like if he goes back to e2, then oh wow, I even have this. Yeah, wow, this is no repetition. No need to repeat with knight d8. Yeah. Yeah, so this is even just good. Wow. And how does this completely go? Is there no sacrifice on e6? I guess not, because it's just one capture as well. Like, how would it go? I guess maybe this position we can take stuff. Yeah, looks really strong actually. Yeah, so in this position, he was just like, yeah, if knight c6 came, then he was just like, yeah, I think I'm just like equal or slightly worse. Like I've just got some pressure on the queen side. He doesn't have anything on the king side. Yeah, and he wasn't feeling good here at all. And I think the reason why I dismissed this was, firstly, I got too carried away with the idea I went for in the game. But secondly, I was also unsure about this position, this c5 push. But in fact, actually, with a knight blockading the pawn, and the knight securing a5, and the fact that this b pawn can't push easily, this is completely fine. And Engine likes rook b7. My instinct would be rook b4, but this is actually slightly risky. b7 basically securing the king side is more important. I'll put Karpov style. Dash. And then yeah, rook b4 can be met with this, which leads to some insane complications, I guess. What is going on here? Wow, and even this crazy. Oh boy, yeah, I don't want this at all. Very unclear. Very unclear. So this is the better move. I'll give rook b7, and this is like inaccurate, right? But yeah, I guess maybe these were my like instincts, right? I just felt that the knight was like kind of needed right now on d8, so I didn't really want to move it to c6. But I guess if there's nothing happening, here, then this just is like a really strong stabilizing move. What are people saying? You take first to create 2 threats. Back rank and trapping the queen. Yeah, this earlier motif, right? Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, Jan, no NSFW comments, please. For the love of God. Please check the profile, Mike. What do you mean the profile? Check Sapsara. Okay, let's have a quick look. Let's have Let's have Sapsara's moment of fame, where he's clearly seshed his ratings. Ooh, back to 2100. Let's go. Very nice. Nice 2250 bullet. Okay, as we can see, his Racing King's rank is dropping, which means that his normal chess is improving. Surprise, surprise. Who would have known? Finally, Sapsara getting to his senses. Okay, can we have chess chat in chat, please? Because we are trying to train chess. Okay, so after dc4, bc4, my idea was to play rook b2. And actually in this position, I think I still could have played knight c6 with a fine game. But yeah, I was kind of set on this rook b2 idea. And my original idea was after queen a5, I wanted to just play knight c6. This was my plan. This was my plan to play knight c6, but somehow I felt like these pawns were somehow dangerous. And I don't know if I saw this queen c5 specifically. But maybe I did, you know. Maybe I did. Maybe I felt like this was weak and I don't really have knight d8, like maybe the queen comes in. Like somehow I was feeling uncomfortable. I was feeling uncomfortable about this position, or maybe even d5 here. It just looks like I'm kind of heading in the wrong direction. So basically, this is definitely a mistake, right? Because removing the pawn on d5 allows white to break with d5, unless I do something drastic like in the game, but my drastic measures were lost. So this is the thing, right? This is yeah, this is actually strong. Lemos's recommendation post analysis. Yeah, post-game analysis. And yeah, it's completely spot on. So this is the mistake. This DC4, and basically here, yeah, this is still holding the balance, but still. Oh my god, holding the balance, but still shaky. Okay, whoever's adding the circles, tricky. I'm serious. Like, can you actually not? I've given you the privilege to join the study, so like, train, not troll. Like this, I don't know how I can emphasize this more, but I don't know. Holding the balance, but still, very difficult after this e5 push. Okay, I don't know. Like, I swear, Arif, like, I don't know. Like, if I have to repeat myself one more time about these circles, like, I'm really not gonna be happy. And don't forget, I have contact with your dad as well. So, like, don't push my buttons. So, okay. Basically, at this moment, my original plan was knight c6, but it's still not original plan. But by this point, the threats of d5 and an active queen are already turning south for me. So this is the this is the problem, and basically, yeah, this is already better for white. So in this position, yeah, basically I got really tempted by this move. And it's funny, I actually played this move and offered him a draw, because this is actually a tactic you can do. You can basically play a very aggressive move, and if you offer a draw at the same time, then your opponent might fear the complications and feel like, okay, they have a chance to bail out. And since, you know, since Damien was still playing, I think, like, maybe one other game at this point, I felt like maybe there's a chance he might take it. But okay, in reality, he's not going to take it, and he also had too much time on the clock. Like, if he had very little time, then maybe this is a moment where he would take that draw. But basically what I was seeing in my complications, I saw that if he takes, my idea was basically to take here. And my thoughts were that basically I'm winning back the rook. And I thought this was good, right? Like, if he has to go back, I can win back the rook. But the problem is that he's got this move g3, aside from other moves, right? So this is the thing as well. Like, to play rook takes f2, I should have more understanding of my abilities in chess and understand my limits. And this is literally what I said in my chess lifestyle video, which I posted, where I gave that live account of, like, my feelings in the English Championship, where I also went for, like, the kind of more sharp, complicated variations, and it was wrong, and I lost, and exactly the same here. Like, and the problem is, it's not even lost because of one line; it's lost for 4 different moves. 4 different moves. I'm losing on 4 different moves. So this is, like, definitely a blunder. Like, 4. Okay, I'll take that as an accident, tricky, but seriously, like, if you can't control your mouse or fingers and just watch the stream, like, I don't know, like, how hard can it be? So yeah, let me write here. So I'll remove the equals button because yeah, it's not an equal position. So offer the draw here. Okay, appreciate that it was a mistake, but yeah, offer the draw. But Lemos still had far too much time on the clock for this to even be considered. This move, in fact, has 4 different refutations, far too many to for this move to ever have been played. Be more realistic with your ventures into complicated sharp chess. So this is the thing, right? Like, I mean, ultimately, I could work harder and work harder on my calculation to be able to evaluate and calculate these rook f2 moves properly. And not play it based on that. But I think I should also be able to use my best judgment in terms of my intuition. Like, is this something that I feel like, is it too good to be true? Or is this actually like the way to go? And here, it's definitely not the way to go. Like, I mean, at the same time, I definitely understood that my position's gone wrong. I was fearing this d5 move. This knight c6 does not cut it, right? But maybe somehow I can hold this with this rook b7, or even better, this queen f5, right? Trying to offer a queen trade. I think this is like a very decent idea, like offering queen trade instead. Offering queen trade, reduce activity of potential white attacks. But I think already, already this position is very tough to play. Yeah, so this is already tough. So this is really the big mistake, taking on c4. Yeah. Okay, appreciate the apology too, Arav. The sign is question mark equals question mark. I haven't seen that. Playing hot garbage for psychology, indeed. Trying to get to 2200. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I would recommend, Safsara, that you watch my 10 tips to 2500 rapid. I reckon there'll be at least one tip there that will help you get to that 2200. I really rate that video. I think it's my most it's my best video in terms of like actually improving your chess strength, like, or chess rating at least. The best video for sure. Like some of the insights are so good. So yeah, highly recommend it. But yeah, basically this rook f2 was not good, and he found g3, which was very, very smart, because actually I have nothing. I literally have nothing to do. It's completely lost, and this is very clean. So the cleanest, I don't know if it's the cleanest. I won't even bother looking at the other lines, but a very clean path to staying up material, to winning material. So this was a very nice move. He can just simply take the rook now. I tried to win back an exchange at least, but ultimately, yeah, I'm a full piece down, right? And he said that actually after the game that he was a bit worried about this queen c6. Like, he felt like maybe there are some ideas to try and get back in the game. But he said he was very proud of spotting this rook b3 move, because I can't take because of his back rank, and of course this is actually the best move in the position. So fantastic spot from Damien to find this rook b3. Yeah, so he played, yeah, he saw a lot. And yeah, I tried to play on a bit, and okay, I was considering, like, you know, really trying to play on, but ultimately I felt like an analysis after the game was probably more important than trying to grovel this position. I mean, I saw that this maybe I can try fight on, and I would in a real game, right? It's just like, you know, it's a single piece. Maybe if I win back one of these pawns, game on. But yeah, like there's really very little chance. And okay, since, you know, the guy's time was limited, I would prefer to like analyze and talk with him rather than just try and swindle this position, which is going to be very Very unlikely, right? So this was my game against Damian Lemos. I felt like I played a really decent game, but as you can see, there were like two serious mistakes in kinds of my understanding here. Firstly, trying to use the queen in the defense. Like, what am I doing? This is stupid. And the second one was basically taking on c4, which is just a huge error because then yeah, then this d5 push is going to become scary. And I mean, you could say, okay, like, yeah, I should improve my calculation to spot that my queen is getting trapped. But the point is, my queen isn't even getting trapped if I'm not putting my queen here in the first place. Is that like first rule of self-defense is like, you know, the first rule of like, I don't know, fighting and defending is like not being there in the first place, right? You don't need to learn to fight if you're not going to get in those dangerous situations. So if you can avoid this, this is the number one rule. And it's actually the same rule here. Like, if I can avoid queen f4, I don't need to be able to calculate it. If I can avoid, you know, allowing these dodgy positions, where suddenly my position is looking dubious and I have to play for dynamics, if I don't let my position get dubious and I keep a pawn on d5, then I'm going to hold the balance much better. And okay, with the black pieces, this was, I think, like a really decent game against this GM. And I had a very nice compliment from Lemos after the game. He said, like, yeah, he felt like my rating of 1975 was way lower than it should be. I didn't ask him what rating he thought I should be because I don't really like putting that pressure on anyone, to be honest, to like, you know, predict the future of you know, your rating. I used to ask this question quite a bit, but I think it's a bit of a stupid question. But yeah, he said that I was massively underrated. So yeah, it was a really nice compliment. And yeah, very interesting game. Very interesting game. But yeah, one thing I definitely learned from this analysis was just reminding myself of this position, right? When they play this early b4, I need to meet it with a5, and actually to not lock up with b6, but use the b6 square for c4. This was a very good reminder. And also just seeing that this is interesting, this b5 as well. To get the similar structure, which actually ended up coming up in the game, but maybe this is even like a slightly faster way to get here. Basically, this knight is very limited, and then we can think about these kind of motifs. Of course, when we're more prepared to meet this knight d4. But yeah, this analysis was very useful, I think. And I think on that note, guys, this has been a long stream. Again, we have more trash talk between Jan, Arav, and Sapsara. And Arav changing his PFP again when I have literally given him a final warning, and he is literally on an ice, like on thin ice already, based on how the stream has gone. So that was a very bold move, which I don't think is going to go down so well. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm going to have to do something about this. But yeah, I hope the rest of you have enjoyed the stream and have learned a lot from it. And yeah, on that note, guys, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. And yeah, maybe actually, Jan, if, I don't know, Monday... It depends. If I stream in the evening, yeah, maybe we can go through. Maybe we can go through. I definitely need to catch up on my woodpecker, though. I definitely have warned you, Arav, and warned you for... You know, I mean, I've been very patient, so, you know. But yes, Shay, I will also check out your inbox as well. So, on that note, guys, okay, see you guys around. Bye. Okay, actually, on that note, I just want to clarify this thing. So, Arav, you said, you know, it didn't say anything about PFP. Arav, I have repeatedly told you so many times on Lichess, on Discord, in a group chat, that we are here to train chess. We are not here to mess around and troll. If you want to troll, go find someone else to troll, because like these streams, this is my time in the day to train, and it is wasting my time and wasting other people's time when you're writing these messages on the chat. And I've been very clear about this. So I mean, this is literally the final straw. Like, if there's anything more like this in any future stream, I'm 100% serious. I'm contacting your dad. I'm writing a full ass essay to him, and it's gonna be trouble. So literally change it back and no more of this. Literally no more, because then it's done. Then it's done. Forget about Leicestershire Grand Prix as well. Forget about it. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. So we train chess starting from tomorrow, and you actually work on your chess. Like, I've literally given you resources to train chess. You could literally be such a stronger player. You're so talented. And what are you doing? You're spending your time just like messing about. So yeah, like these streams, I want you to have fun, of course. But there needs to be the priority on chess. If you're not here for chess, then I don't want you on these streams. It's as simple as that. Okay? So This is literally your final warning. I swear to God. Because, I mean, for the viewers thinking that this is too harsh, I swear to God, there's been more than just these messages on chat. So, Arav, you have... This is it. This is it. So, don't push any further. Okay, on that note, streaming tomorrow. We're going to do some more chess. Okay, adios.